So if it's not rotating 90 degrees right, then we're gonna obviously set it to left. So angle, and then the direction, width, of course the same, the transform dot right, sorry, right, and then we just set a negative, that's all. That, and then you just times it again, just flip something to the opposite side, guys. It's a -1 times it by a -1, not just -1. So, which means the arrow dot transform, there is a ruler, right? Ruler. Oh my gosh. There, Unity remove it? Oh, there. Okay. E-ruler. E-ruler. Oh my gosh, I can't read, guys. You guys should donate some money so I can buy some books and learn to read. Code too much. Let's read in. So we don't got to touch the X. We don't got to touch the Y. We're just affecting the Z. Because let me show you something before I save anything, right? If I make the arrow visible and go to it, which way am I looking at it from? I'm looking at it from this way, right? Go to it from this way. When you're talking about rotation, you got to remember it's the Z that you're really looking for most of the time on a 2D view. That's why you saw when I wanted it to be facing right, so I went -180. But that's what's going to happen. That's the rotation we're looking for. Okay? So it's usually the Z. If you think it's this, it's not, because that's going to do that, and then it's going to do the other thing. It's usually the Z for 2D stuff. Okay? It's always the Z, guys. Always the Z. All right, back to the code. So I left X0, Y0. We're not going to touch that. Rotate on the Z. I think with that, if we move the arrow around, it should rotate for us. All we got to do is some scaling, making things smaller and bigger and stuff like that. So let's see what we got. Hopefully I nailed it in one shot. Or I got to redo my codes. Click. Circle shows up like it should. Unclick, it disappears. Look at that. Ooh. That's not good. That's not good. Some of it is working, right? So go out, rotate, except that's not rotating correctly. Down there, we're good. At the bottom, we're good. Up here, we're good. And then right here, we kind of like, oh, what's going on? All right, go all the way out. Oh, man. All right, I'm going to take care of the scaling so we can get this right, but boom. It's looking nice. It's looking nice. And if you've already accomplished what you're looking for in this video, feel free to stop watching. But I think this is a really nice part right here where you can learn how to scale something based on distance. Distance would be a big factor in this. We're going to scale based on that distance. And I think the distance we're going to use would, let's see. Is it current distance or the current distance? Current distance max. Safe space. Math F. Show power. Probably be the safe space. It should have actually named it like safe. Safe distance, like a good. Anyways, let's get it. Let's get it going. Alrighty then. So for this, we're going to need 2 more vector 3s at least, and a couple of floats, and scale values and all that junk. So let's make our first float, and we can call this, yeah, why not? Oh, let's spell the word out. Spell the word out. Scale x. That equals. Let's do a mathematical equation here. I think it's Wait. Is there a lerp? There's a lerp. Return the logistic of the specific number. Wow. Okay. So this is not really a log, guys. You're not about to print nothing out on the screen or nothing like that. It's short for logistics. So 1. That's save space. Oh my gosh. I'm punching in these numbers because I know they work. I know they work. I know they work. Work. Times it by 2 point. I want to kind of make it a little higher than the. So 2.4. 2.4. You know, there was a finger soccer kit that I had a while back, and I got to learn how most of this kind of comes into play. So the same is, I think back then I'd use a 2.2 when I made my replica. Okay, 2.2 it is. And then we tell the arrow dot transform, and not position this time, but the local scale equals, and yes, you gotta kind of represent this by a vector. So let's do this. That's the first number. Then 1 plus. No. Okay. We're scaling on the x. So we need x plus 1, and then z, xy, plus 1, okay. And then a small value to scale up by, so like a -1, something like that. I believe that's what I used a long time ago. Just like that. Duplicate that, and then this will just be circle. Oop, got a text. And this should be all it really takes. Oh, interesting. This should be all it really takes to do that scaling, since we had everything else all set up. I got to figure out what's going wrong with my rotation, but it looks right. It's more than 90 forward. Maybe when I scale it, it would help. Or maybe I should do a -5 instead. Let's do a -5 instead. Everything. We'll just do 5. Where else did I mention this? We'll do 5. I'm doing 5 instead. And don't mind me when I talk under my breath. I'm really just thinking. That's 4, which I think is fine. Let's do 5. That's 10, which is all right as well. Let's make it, yeah, let's make it 12. Oh, let's make it 13. Let's make it 13. All right, let's go back. And let's see what we got. We'll hit play. I'm a little nervous. Click. Circle. Expand. So it has a max of where it expand. Like if I'm shooting down, right? Arrow gets bigger, gets smaller. It's bigger, gets smaller. We need the arrow to be smaller by default. Zero 0.5. 0.5. So if I'm shooting down, everything looks great, right? Everything looks good. But so a key thing here, what you would do, if I were you, is a little transparency in the arrow. That's one thing as well. Okay, looks a lot better. So now these disable the rendering. I would also make a little transparency in the circle. About that much. If you play, right, like that looks great, and it goes. Also, if it hits the wall, you want to have like a bounciness going on there. So I'm just gonna create a border for testing purposes. About that far down, maybe about here. Don't need to render it. And then just quickly in the material. You don't have to do this. I'm just doing this to kind of like see how it looks and stuff. Bounce. 0, 0, 1. Minimum and maximum. Border. Just put this in here. I'm just going to shoot it down and see what happens. You should bounce and, act really normal. There you go. Nice. All right, so It's looking great. I'm about to wrap this up. Just let me see why, if I look down, everything is fine, but why when I try to turn and look up, my arrow will not rotate. Again, if you've accomplished what you were looking for in this video, you can go ahead and stop now. In the meanwhile, let me find out why it's not rotating, because that's interesting. Alright guys, so I have figured it out. I noticed that when I did my print, I did a debug log of my coordinates. As I point it down, this number should really be like low. Then it goes up to 90, goes back around, goes down. So I noticed that it was actually my player that was in the wrong perspective. I was looking at him from the wrong side, so to speak. And what that means is I need to actually rotate him 90, which makes him look a little strange like that. This is the angle I'm looking at him from. So then if I make this about 2.5, let's see, a 0.5 and 2.5, thing looks he looks a lot better. Yeah, I was looking at him from the wrong angle. So now, if all is done correctly, if you watch the log, when I go down, see the number is way down. It's like 12. So rotated this way, it goes up 90. You can see it does it switches, flips. Now it's pointing down. Same deal back here. Now it's pointing up. So I have a nice smooth rotation the correct way, and we can go ahead and make this thing happen. So other thing I added was just some more borders around to test it out, make sure it works the way it should. And there we have it. We are done. Hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. For more tutorials, you can go ahead and just leave a comment in the below. Make a request on what you would like to see done next. And again, hopefully this helped someone else out there other than just the person who requested it. I really hope you guys can do a lot with this now. And I definitely made it independent. So with the game being made this way and everything being its own independent object, expanding on this game becomes really easy. Right now you got a nice working game here, and you can easily create more scenes, right? Really easily. I set my camera to whatever. Okay, maybe a blue. That perspective, and then you just you drag your players in. Let me fix my perspective here. Just zoom out a little bit, about that much. Right, you get your A and B points that you need, and your circle and arrow, and then everything else will just work. So I can put, I can put 2 players in there, 3 players in there, and you guys can start handling multiplayer stuff and all that good stuff. So again, I'd like to thank you guys for coming in and checking it out. You guys have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. Hey, you should become a part of this positive and educational channel by hitting that subscribe button. Again, thank you for watching. Have a great day.